Yo, I'm Vivix, or V for short. Just some guy who's been playing World of Warcraft off and on for nearly 20 years. I have stuff I need to get off my chest, kind of. I obviously will not always have people agree with my takes or opinions, but that isn't the point of making content or sharing opinions for me. I just love discussing and analyzing things I am passionate about. Now, scripting this video, I kind of see I'm all over the place, touching on a lot. But generally speaking, this video will be focusing on how I feel about WoW in the past to now, the community and how it's changed, with lastly talking about my hopes of its future. I will make sure to structure it in a way that makes sense.
Are you sure about that?
This will be the first video on this channel, and essentially its introduction or debut. I want to make sure to give some upfront context and insight for the direction of this project. This project has been deemed ViiWoW CO, inspired by the Venture Co. from Azeroth, combined with my own creator alias and World of Warcraft. I have other content creation projects, but this will be a channel focused on World of Warcraft, as it is a game I've played off and on since OG Vanilla when I was about 6 or 7 years old, so it's been in my life longer than anything excluding a few blood relatives. WoW also being such an expansive game, I thought having a channel dedicated to it would ease my OCD of flooding my other projects with WoW-focused content being all mixed up together. So, here we are.
You are not prepared!
I personally am a mid-core kind of player that enjoys almost everything the game has to offer in forms of content. Instance PvE like Mythic 0, low Mythic plus keys, LFR/normal raids. World content like quests, exploring, rare hunting, dailies, weeklies, and world PvP. Collecting things like mounts, pets, toys, and definitely most of all transmogs. PvP content like battlegrounds, solo shuffle, and 2v2 arenas, and a little mild RP as well.
Oh, behave.
Making original backstories for my characters, theming the character from name, faction, race, class, spec, and overall appearance and mount. Having over 30 plus tunes, I'm what you would call an altaholic as well. Not alcoholic, altaholic, just to clarify. With all of my characters, experiences, opinions, and more within World of Warcraft, I plan to make diverse and original content, from reviews, lore overviews, original stories and narratives, to random discussions and more. I want to be transparent and precise in the execution of my content, so I do hope you enjoy, even if you may not agree with all of my takes. But please feel free to respectively share your opinions below in the comments section. That you end up enjoying what I and my Guild of Adventurers create, please make sure to like, subscribe, and strike the bell to support what we do. So with this exposition dump over, I'm going to pass the mic to Alistair to quickly list off the points of interest of this video.
Yo, Alistair here. Hope everyone is doing well. This video will be sectioned up into these chapters. Section 0 will be V's introduction to World of Warcraft. Section 1 will be off and on relationship. Section 2 will be glass half full kind of guy. Section 3 will be letting go. And Section 4 is V's hopes for the future. Lastly, quick comments and outro to end it all off. Sit back and relax. Guildmaster V has been pondering these thoughts for a long time now, so you may want to strap in for this discussion. We'll see each other again. Take it away, Guildmaster.
Thanks, Alistair. I appreciate it.
No problem. See you around.
That's Alistair. He's sort of my main of all my many characters and guild members you shall see on the channel, so expect to see more of him. But now, my conscience is clear and relieved that I've gotten the desired formalities out of the way. Let us begin.
4 years have passed since the mortal races banded together and stood united against the might of the Burning Legion. Though Azeroth was saved, the tenuous pact between the Horde and the Alliance has all but evaporated. The drums of war thunder once again.
This right here is my favorite thing, ever. in the history of forever. I think about this every day. I think about this all night long. I stay awake, not sleeping, because I'm thinking about this.
Picture this. I'm 6 to 7 years old. Me and one of my little brothers, that's 2 years younger than me, see our great uncle, who we'd end up spending many a weekends at his house throughout our childhood, playing a game on his big boxy 90s to early 2000s computer. It looked magical, grand, and interesting. We asked him what he's playing, as our experiences before that were maybe the most with some PS1 games like Crash Bandicoot and Tony Hawk Pro Underground. It looked like nothing we'd ever seen before. He told us that it was World of Warcraft. At the time, it was probably at the halfway state to releasing its first expansion, The Burning Crusade. Me and my brother awed at it and asked if we could play, ending in a no. But we at least sat there and just enjoyed watching him play. I remember we asked weekend after weekend if we could play, which for the longest time always ended in a no. We wanted to play it so bad, even when we'd be home in our room at night, just laying up in our beds in our dark room, just talking about what kind of characters we'd create and things we'd do when we finally got to play WoW. Those are some really fond memories for me. Then one weekend we asked, and to our surprise, he ends up allowing us to finally play.
Save some energy for me.
This is it, Beavis. We're finally gonna score. Thank God.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do it all right.
I still remember that original login screen and him playing the first cinematic of it for us. It still lives rent-free in my head to this day. And Blizzard, even though they're not perfect, creates some damn near-perfect cinematics. We had no idea what we were getting into at that time, but I'm still happy we opened that can of worms in the end. I still remember creating my first character, a Tauren warrior that some family friend that was over when we got to play it named Bullwinkle, a reference to at the time I was unaware of its connection, but as of years ago, found out it's this derpy-ass moose cartoon. My brother made a dwarf named Elville, funnily enough being a typo when he tried to name his character Evil. Me and my little bro always played WoW differently. Throughout our time, sometimes together and sometimes not. Sometimes on and sometimes off. He early on got his hunter to like level 30, and I fell into the habit of leveling a character for a bit, then making another to experience more of the game. He got a max level way before I did, to be honest, but since then, and with WoW's leveling becoming easier, I've definitely gotten plenty of max levels by now at least. Better late than never, I guess. It really is crazy, just bathing in the nostalgia of those earlier times when I got to experience the World of Warcraft, all being on our uncle's account. Now with my gushing done and the early days over, let's get on to the next point.
My child, I watched with pride as you grew into a weapon of righteousness. Remember, our line has always ruled with wisdom and strength. And I know you will show restraint when exercising your great power.
This section of the video, I'm going to try to speed run the timeline, starting off from the end of the section before this one to the current days. This being the breakdown of my off and on relationship with World of Warcraft. Eventually, when I turned 11, we moved out of the state we were from to Florida. Maybe a year or two later, when I was around 12 or so years old, our stepdad was suggested to start playing World of Warcraft with a coworker. This being sometime during the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, I'm assuming around the time of the release of the Wrathgate cinematic, as I remember we got to see it in all of its glory on YouTube in YouTube's infancy.
Arthas! The blood of your father, of your people, demands justice!
Enough talk! Let it be finished!
No. Wait. You will pay for all the lives you've stolen, traitor!
Boldly stated, but there is nothing you can...
The fuck? What?
Wait a minute! Who are you?
Death to the scourge! And death to the living!
Where are you going?
side. Our temperaments are incompatible, you must admit that.
Me and my brother played on that account, having a few characters ourselves, but most of our playtime was leveling our stepdad's Blood Elf Paladin and a few other characters of his. If we wanted to play, that's usually how it went, essentially doing almost all of his leveling stuff. Eventually, right around the time Cataclysm was coming out, I started mowing lawns and doing other random things for my neighbors to earn money to buy my own subscription. I made a pretty memorable character for myself, being a human warrior. For some dumb reason, I named Menja, because I guess I thought it sounded cool, even if really it made no sense. I eventually got this warrior to level 60, being the original next level for a character in WoW during vanilla. Funnily enough, at the time, you still had to buy all the expansions separately on top of the subscription to experience everything. Me being time-gated by the way to earn money, as, you know, lawns don't grow back instantaneously overnight. I was unable to buy other expansions for some time, so Ninja sat there at level 60. Eventually, I got KBC for that account and got into 70 through the Outlands, and that's probably around the time where I kind of lost the ability to play, due to something happening to my old boxy-ass desktop computer. Still playing on my stepdad's account and his computer occasionally up to sometimes during Mists of Pandaria. Personally, from some nostalgia bias and for some legit logical reasons, Cataclysm probably in its later patches is my favorite iteration of WoW. As it's when the world update happened, and that ended up blowing my pre-teen mind, and where they added some levels of modernization and conveniences, the classes all felt pretty good to play, and the game hadn't lost its charm at the same time. Not saying it has completely lost its charm for me at the moment, but it has in the last few years and expansions been struggling with its identity/direction that I feel it's starting to finally grasp again. But before getting too far into talking about another chapter's topic, let me kind of halt there and kind of move on.
Alrighty then.
Jump from some time in MOP to some time during Legion when I was 19 and had been on my own for a few years. I eventually was able to get a laptop. Legion looked sick, and I thought while I had the money at the time, I would try it out again.
Oh my god, he's so goddamn cool!
Daddy, chill.
For Azeroth!
Someone cooked here.
It ran like crap on my Lenovo ThinkPad, but I enjoyed Legion, as like all the other times when I got to predominantly play WoW, I had ended up starting a fresh account, not having access to my old ones as of how long the breaks between playing were, and how many emails I went through as a disorganized teenager.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out.
Plus, I just like starting from scratch personally. I had a few tunes, but it was actually when I had got my own first max level, at the time the max level being 110 I believe, and it was a Tauren Fury Warrior that for some reason I can't remember the name of. I played right until pre-patch of BFA, where again I took some years off due to life circumstances. Not really because I didn't want to play anymore or anything, as all the times I've taken a break from WoW, it was never really due to not having fun or not wanting to play. Life has been something.
Emotional, damn it!
But, that aside, it probably was a good thing I didn't play during BFA, as from my knowledge of it now, had many things that probably would have soured my taste for the game a bit. Azeroth armor definitely sounds like trash borrowed power that I would have been disappointed in it following the legendary status of Legion artifact weapons. Moving on to a time before the most recent comeback to WoW, it was right at the start of the final season of Shadowlands, which, for lots of reasons, I enjoyed, especially the Covenant armor sets and storylines, which, if obviously treated like Dragonflight renown and could be obtained all at once instead of locking it into a single one per character, would have been 10 times better, and the soulbind system being kind of convoluted, to be honest. But I did enjoy the world content, the dungeons, and how alt-friendly it was, at least when it came to gearing. I used Sandsworn relics to gear up multiple alts that I could turn into their tier set pieces at the conversion catalyst. I finished each renown campaign and, maxed out the reputation with each covenant at least once all the way through. So that was at least 4 or 5 of my tunes. I played for about 2 months or so, starting from yet again another fresh account, and had by the end of that time 5 or 6 of the classes max leveled with at least piece and gear, and got at least one of all the other classes to level 50 parked at the covenant they were going to be doing. But that yet again became a time I lost the ability to play due to life circumstances.
This world is a prison.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
So, I got to see when the new talent systems were being implemented, which I'm a huge fan of to be honest, but didn't get to play when Dragonflight was actually dropping. Now, finally, at the most recent comeback to WoW, it was about 2 months ago, in the middle of Season 3 of Dragonflight, which for many reasons I'd say is the best expansion since Legion in its entirety. There are some lame aspects of it, the quest system and what works with the catalyst, whether for actual tier set pieces or transmog of old pieces, and stuff like the story and tone being a bit PG being some examples. But how many ways you can gear up and get past season stuff, the vault, now bronze bullions, world content, instance content, overall narrative and theme, dragon riding, and ease of gearing up, I'd say there is a lot of things that I thoroughly enjoy about WoW in its current iteration. Side by side, I am playing some classic Cataclysm with my little bro, who absolutely refuses to touch retail again.
It's the biggest piece of dog.
Maxed my renown with the Plunderstorm game mode when that was a thing, and I'm enjoying some Op Remix. I have one tune in the remix at max currently, but have a few other tunes I plan on maxing out through the event as well. Even if it takes the whole event, I'm going to get all of those dope-ass transmog sets, and now it's possible. Best luck to everyone else trying to get what they want out of the event. Now, with literally every bit of exposition and context with my experiences with playing WoW off and on up until this point, and touching on the most current things that have been going on with WoW, let's use this as a good transition into the next chapter.
Oh, give up, boy.
Like you? Live another day.
As the name of this chapter would hopefully lead you to believe, I personally am a glass half full kind of guy. It is in many aspects of life much healthier and has been more positive for me to try to carry this outlook in life, especially when it comes to things like WoW that I am very passionate about. I would like to enjoy my time with. I'm all fine with calling out the negatives and giving constructive criticisms on features or aspects of WoW I don't like. But for me, the things I enjoy about WoW outweigh the negatives. This being when I may start to upset people and things may get a little spicy, but I'm just being honest and stating my perspective. If you disagree, that is your life choice. I don't expect anyone to agree on all these points, but I do hope I can at least help speak for some people who may feel like I do, or help show those with more negative views on WoW a perspective of someone who is thoroughly enjoying their time playing the game. Also, being after I gave you my whole nostalgic WoW backstory, maybe you'll be less likely to rage into comments.
Yeah, boy.
But only time will tell. I'm typically more of a diplomatic kind of guy, but with these points and takes, I may be coming out metaphorically swinging for the fence. In one way, nervous of the hate I'll probably receive for my opinions, but in another way, curious to see and hear other perspectives. That is one of the many reasons I choose to make creative content about things I find interest in or carry much passion for. If I look at the negatives and harp on them forever, play a game that I pay for a subscription to play with a negative outlook and predisposition thought that the game isn't going to be fun, listen to the most negative opinions online within comment sections on YouTube or forums, choose to take it too seriously to where it's stressful more than it is fun, then obviously I wouldn't imagine that I would be having a good time. Which to me makes no sense to do any of those things, especially if I'm going to choose to pay for a sub to a game that I'm going to spend hours and hours playing. I play games for recreation, escapism, and to relieve stress, not stress more. I got some shot nerves and heavy anxiety already. I work, have my creative projects, help take care of the family, have become a dad, lost both my own parents and many other family members in the last 10 years of my life, all from when I was a teenager to my early 20s. And let's just say, seen the ugly side of life to stop the non-WoW discussion and save you from my full-blown, tragic, anime protagonist backstory. I'll get back to my point. The last thing I need is to be spending hours doing something and acting like every second of it sucks. Taking it so seriously that I'd be willing to let it bring me down emotionally or mentally. Yes, there's many things Blizzard and World of Warcraft have done that I'd say were not the greatest of decisions. Borrowed power, convoluted in-game progression systems, pacing, a lack of self-awareness for a good while, and more. These are all valid things to criticize, but holy shit. The amount of whining and straight-up bashing of the game online in spaces where someone is just trying to enjoy the game, or in-game when playing, like every queue lobby of Plunderstorm, there were at least 2 to 3 people out of the dozens playing who just had to bitch that they hate the game mode and they wish Blizzard didn't make it, saying it was trash. Which, to be fair, I don't like battle royales or games that are typically PvP-oriented, but even I could admit it was good fun for what it was. I didn't expect to be mind-blown by it, but I enjoyed the game mode. That probably being because it was executed pretty well. I didn't burn myself out on a game mode that typically isn't my cup of tea, tried to actually enjoy my time when playing it, and I'm a fan of the things I was able to add to my collections from it by getting the max 40 renown, which was fairly easy, to be honest, even as a casual player, who still finished like a whole week before the event ended. If people stress, rush, or go so hard on it in the first few days, even more so if it's not your type of gameplay, I would expect you wouldn't be having fun. But at the end of the day, that doesn't change the fact that it was optional, and you were choosing to play it, and you had plenty of time to collect the rewards, especially if you just waited till the halfway point, where they doubled the plunder games. Only playing a few hours every few nights for the first 2 weeks, I got to at least renown 20 or so. Then by the time they implemented the double plunder game, I would end up getting 1 to 2 renown ranks every single decent match I played. The key thing here being moderation and trying to look at it with a glass half full mindset. I got to experience something I normally wouldn't have if it wasn't in WoW. Got some cool rewards and collectibles, and even see Blizzard at least try to branch out and not be so damn regressive. The same thing with the newest event in WoW, being Mop Remix. It has its flaws and things that could be a bit better. The scaling being a bit of an issue, maybe they could not cap the cloak at least as much as they have for ults. Nerfing the bronze cost of gear upgrades would be nice, and possibly changing the fact that at max level you keep getting threads for an experience bonus that is completely useless to a max level, and instead should be getting some kind of percentage bonus to bronze gains instead, in my opinion. But overall, I'm still personally enjoying it, as seeing many others doing so as well. Now, some people may take this comment I'm about to say to heart for some odd-ass reason, but the amount of gloom and doomers online and in-game complaining about the nerf of the frog farm, being so behind you could never catch up, and all of that are almost completely unreasonable. Keyword being almost. I do think that the frogs didn't really need to be nerfed, but it is what it is, and I'm not going to let one little nerf that doesn't stop me from ever achieving my goals in the event ruin my entire experience of it, especially when all the gear and power is just going to be stretched from literally everyone once the characters are turned from the time runners to just normal realm characters. At the end of the day, the event within its first week that I even started a few days late on, I'm already at 14k threads just playing maybe about 20 hours in total over a week or so, and at least to some extent, Blizzard adding the new bonus spools of thread to the reward system has really started to make it seem really easy to get those few million plus health pulls, and probably ending up with being able to still feel like a busted ass character. To be honest, I'm already feeling like that, and I kind of have no clue how to play a sub-rogue that I got my max first in the remix.
Hiya! Your favorite Volpurant shaman Zeki here? I was promised food and gold that if Guildmaster V ever states info that has been changed or updated between the writing, recording, or editing of the video, that I'd chime in to give the most current info. For compensation, of course. Let's see here. The Mop Remix has had tons of buffs to the gaining of cloak threads and bronze rewards, nerfing the cloaks of people who exploited the Gulper Frog Hyper Spawn farm. That was a mouthful. They added a full-on 40,000 bronze reward for each character you level to 70, and people still aren't happy. Sounds like personal problems to me. None of my business. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just here to fulfill my end of a bargain. I've done my part, so later.
The actions and changes are happening quickly, in my opinion, and I personally think things will turn out all right. If I'm a Blizzard glazer for just wanting to look at the bright side, that's your perspective. I've got plenty of times just in the script have mentioned tons of negatives or dislikes I've had with Blizzard's or WoW's decisions, but that will not change the fact that I enjoy playing the game at the moment and in its many iterations. Sorry, Season of Discovery and Hardcore Vanilla, But with how I play and how my life is set up, those versions move way too slow for me to feel I am making any meaningful progress, and the communities around them are the other worst kind of the WoW community, which retail does have its share of, but that being gatekeepers or elitists as I call them. Retail, personally to me, just has a bunch of more people who cry over the issues in game, have little meltdowns where the classic portion of the community is toxic by just leaving nasty-ass comments on random WoW videos, of people just enjoying, sharing their time in retail, just to proceed to shit on the game they haven't touched in probably 5 to 10 years. I'd say no shame, but screw that. Anyone who is being just a negative, unbearable, or completely nasty person online, trying to shit on someone who is just enjoying what they like, you're a prick. I think games like Minecraft, Roblox, Fortnite, Call of Duty, and many other types of games that plenty of other people do enjoy to not be fun for myself. But you don't see me, even if I just so happen to get a clip of it show up on my YouTube, because you know, the YouTube algorithm sees you like video games, at least if you consume videos about certain types of games, and positive or negative lights. You're going to get the YouTube special, where it's going to show you everything that could vaguely relate to what you watch or engage with. Example being when I watch a lot of content revolving around, talking about or discussing anime, but for some odd-ass reason, it wants to show me damn near hentai videos and thirst traps because I consume any bit of content that YouTube deems relative, or how I listen to Kendrick Lamar's disses to Drake, and YouTube for some reason thought I wanted to actually start getting suggested Drake songs, like, what the hell, Hard Pass. But I just click the do not recommend button and move on with my day. I don't go to the comments to say, oh, this game sucks. How could you play this? Or you're a moron for ever giving Blizzard your money. This game is shit, and so are you for playing it. People can never even get creative with it. This is spewing the same shit that everyone who quit the game has been saying about it since its decline after Cataclysm. That for some reason don't understand that if you keep engaging with the content, YouTube thinks, oh hey, this guy watched the whole clip. He must be interested in seeing more wild stuff, leading to them getting tons of suggested videos to a game they admittingly hate, leaving the cycle never ending for the infection on WoW's community that technically isn't even part of it. Damn. I might have sounded upset, but I assure you, I am not. As I said, I'm passionate about World of Warcraft, have literally grown up with it, had my first and only ever online girlfriend. Wait, I didn't want to share that. But I kind of don't care. I was an emotionally unstable 13-year-old getting drop-kicked by puberty. Give me a break.
That's a good one, V.
Just had to lighten the mood a bit.
That's a good choice, V. You shouldn't shoot what you can't kill.
Thanks, Alistair. Whatever you mean by that.
You speak from the heart about something that you want to discuss, but you know that as an individual, you have not the power to kill the beast alone. It'll always get back up, no matter how many shots you take at it. So you said your piece, and now you can let it go.
Yeah, I will do that. But first, I gotta appease the OCD god of my life, and gotta wrap this jumbled giant mess of a point up in a summary.
Huh, that's just like you.
I know that's right. Now, brace yourself.
Oh shit!
All in all, I believe the biggest problems of the community are those that aren't even technically in the community anymore, but still engage with the content, and people who are actually playing the game. The elitists, meta chasers who can't just enjoy their meta play and let others enjoy the game the ways that they want. I understand if you don't want to let me in your party, but I've seen people go way out of their way just to bash someone for their style of gameplay or preference and importance of content. Even though I do many of the available things in WoW personally, there is others who literally just do one thing, whether it be PvP, PvE, logs and mount collecting, leveling and questing, lore, mythic dungeons, and/or raids, and touch no other form of content that WoW offers. This is all fine. The people enjoy what they subjectively find fun, and you can do the same, without ever having to go out of your way to try and drag someone else for doing what you do, which is play how you want to play. It's ludicrous, to be honest. And the whiners who predominantly are on retail, who have mental meltdowns in the comments about the smallest nerf or tweak to something they dislike or think the game is going to appeal to every last person in every last way possible, when that is by definition practically impossible for something that is a recreational activity that will have subjective viewerships. That is literally millions of people, and totally unfair to expect. So please, if you feel targeted by these statements regarding people who do these kinds of things, get help.
Stop it. Get some help.
And maybe reassess how you were literally part of what is killing the game, by always bashing it online, showing the community as plenty of crazies that who in their right mind would want to deal with, and deterring any possible new people who want to give the game a try. The game at this point does that enough on its own, with some things just being so convoluted and complicated and hard to just get into, while also, in combination to that chokehold, are simultaneously holding your hands around the third of the game, strangling the life out of it, leading it to not getting any better in turn or new growth, whether you still play and are one of the toxic forms of current players, or you're someone who hasn't played the game in a long time / refuses to play retail. This next section is for you. With all of this section going over my takes of WoW and its different groups within its community and the community as a whole. Together, let's let go.
My son.
I am not that person anymore. I have no light. Not after what I've seen. Not after what I've done.
You are not your past, Anduin. I trust you.
This chapter is probably going to be a bit odd because of the fact I'm going to direct comments at the many types of people in the WoW community. So I don't get too off track or rant too hard. I'm going to deal with it how I typically would, with a list. Since Alistair got to read off the first list, I'll go ahead and take this as a chance to introduce another member of our guild. Introducing Ardabios.
Greetings, Vi. I have many things I need to be doing. Dragons that are going to slay themselves. What is it you need me to do?
Oh yeah, I just wanted you to introduce yourself and read this list off, please.
Such a trivial task. I was hoping for a good fight. I'll play into this little charade, but you owe me at least 4 solar shuffles. I've just got some new upgrades that I'm looking to take into the arena.
Yeah. Deal. Now people are waiting for the video to continue, if you don't mind.
Ardabios reporting for duty. The following is a list of all the different people these messages will be directed towards, as all of these different kinds of people, in one way or another, need to let go. The Exiled, the Entitled, the Elite, the Passionate, and the Untouched. Wow, Vi. It sounds like you are about to give a whole bunch of people a good scolding. I may just have to sit around and see the action. Always good to have a warrior and his weapons close by, just in case anyone feels a little bit offended and wants to try something.
No need for violence or bloodshed. I simply just want to reach out to all these different demographics, but feel each one is important enough to be addressed individually. To be honest, you kind of just missed the chapter of scolding. This one is definitely meant to have a lighter tone.
Oh yeah, you should have seen it. He was exploding with passion.
Oh well. Get on with it then.
The Exiled. People who used to play the game, classic Andes, and people of the sort. Really anyone who doesn't play the game currently, refuses to play it anymore, or refuses to play retail ever again. I mean, no disrespect when I ask this, but do you really love just choosing to engage with something that you admittingly hate? Or holding on to something you consider so negative? It's definitely a different aspect of life, but I hold the outlook that lots of different philosophies or ideals can be used or applied to many different aspects of life. Picture you have a maybe not so nice or enjoyable person in your life, who every time you're around them now, ends up setting you off, leaving you flustered, or stresses you out. Wouldn't the most logical or safe bet to be cutting ties with that said person from your life? See, it would make sense to me at least to do the same thing with something like a video game or piece of media you have a negative view of. I'd be willing to cut ties with even my own mother if she made me feel that stressed or was just that negative to have in my life. You're damn right I'd be willing to do it to a video game. And I would like to just request that if you fall in this category, maybe give something like this a try. The next time you see a WoW video pop up, unless it's mine and you haven't been pissed off in some way by this video, just click the Do Not Recommend button, or select it as an irrelevant content. YouTube is not perfect, but at least will, majority of the way, start to filter things with that game's keywords out. And I promise, if you can start to distance yourself from something you have nothing but disdain left for, you will feel like a weight's been lifted off your shoulders, at least to some capacity, in my honest opinion. So no more when a WoW video pops up of just some dude talking about some random thing he's enjoying about the game, just to say the game sucks and wanting to tell them they're wrong for enjoying something just because you don't. To the Exiled, please move on and choose to surround yourself with things you actually do like or that makes you happy. Respectively, move on with dignity and grace. Finally, to let go of WoW. 2. The Entitled. Being the current player base of WoW, and its actively find members within the community, especially if you interact with the forums or those that feature the game on YouTube or any other social media. Please, get a grip, and stop making the game's player base seem so toxic and entitled. I respect and agree with a lot of the criticisms the game has gotten and will continue to get online. But it's not even what people say, it's just how they say it. People can't just say they were simply disappointed or unhappy with some feature, mechanic, storyline, buff, nerf, or anything of the like. They have to act like someone unalived their family member, or it's the end of the world, wording things in a way that makes the simplest of complaints sound like a mental meltdown. People can't just remember the fact that we're all human, even Blizzard devs. We make mistakes or wrong choices. Blizzard, at least as of recently, has for the first time ever, it seems, to actually be willing to acknowledge their shortcomings. And I have to give them credit for that personally. They don't really have an excuse for the hiccups, but they at least explain the reasons behind most of their choices, or explain why they did something. And on top of that fact, it's a recreational activity that everyone will have their own perspective on whether it's fun for them or not. Especially a game like WoW, that has so many forms of content, grinds, or things to do. They are going to make choices that will not appeal to every single player of millions. And back to what I said earlier of expecting or feeling entitled that Blizzard must make the game for you and what you want alone is selfish, and truly is a waste of energy in my opinion. So, it would be nice if people could just give their criticisms in a way that doesn't look like a rabid animal going on a rampage in the comment sections over some change that happened that makes you hate the game. That's all you ever expect from Blizzard, or literally starting shit with other players just because they may disagree with your take. Then I would ask, why have you been paying them money for a game that you only complain about? Or play a game that is literally multiplayer by definition because of what kind of game it is, where you just always get so pissed and upset over the other active players and their opinions? If that's really how you feel, at least if I was in that position, I would just choose to not pay for a subscription anymore and stop playing the game. And even I, someone who has stated how long this game has been in my life, that I've literally grown up with this game, have played it more than any other game, can still understand that at the end of the day, it's still just that, a video game. So whether you need to lighten up, just let go of the always negative view of what you expect from Blizzard, even simply just not come across as such an aggressive or passive-aggressive person online, sounding like you're throwing a child's tantrum, or straight up need to let go of the game, permanently, or even just temporarily, to see how it may improve your mood or mental health. Most of us are adults, and I would just appreciate if we could start acting like it. I want our community to be healthy, happy, and welcoming, which, with this next group of people, I will find this is one of the hardest things for them to help accomplish. To the elite, aka the meta chasers, hardcore players, or gear score item level Andes, please keep kicking ass at the highest levels by all means. I will not try to get in the way of that. I'm all for people who put a lot of effort into something, but you also need to realize that WoW is and has always had a variety of things that people enjoy or prefer to partake in. If someone isn't trying to chase that hardest difficulty or engage with the highest ends of content, then why the hell would you expect them to have meta talent builds, to use consumables, to have looked up or watched hours of guides, have DBM or weak ores set up, or anything of the sort? Sometimes people just like to play games and learn things for themselves, to test what they can achieve without outside knowledge or help. I completely understand if you deny someone not fit for heroic or mythic raid, but to try and gatekeep normal raids and heroic dungeons is so stupid. I don't need 500 item level and a 4-piece tier set bonus to clear that kind of content. I understand wanting to be efficient as much as the next autistic min-maxer, but would you rather literally gatekeep any new people from getting to the level of being that max height of efficiency in turn limiting the pool of players who can do even harder forms of content, clear mid-core content, or just have those players maybe not be the best or top DPS, but get more experience in gear they need to perform at higher levels, leading to the pool of capable players and/or raiders? I would choose the latter personally, and I would advise you to stop scaring away every potential player that tries to dip their toes in the mid-core content, just having you bash them for not being the perfect player. Competition can be healthy, but when it's not, it really is not. So maybe, unless it's your job, try to just look at it from another player's perspective, or how you would feel if you were only a few months into playing, just for everyone to act like you were never welcome into in-game content. I could tell you from personal experience that I am way more of a hands-on learner and learn best from first-hand experience doing something. It sticks and resonates with my memory way more that way. For example, if I was to ride in a car with someone somewhere, if it is somewhere I haven't really been before, I won't remember the ride or directions at all. But if I have to manually drive myself somewhere, it takes 1 to 2 drives at it, and I can remember the entire way there with no GPS. So if you want to use the "you should have looked at a guide" or being upset with a player for failing a mechanic they've never done or have only maybe attempted once, you're being a little shit and aren't helping the situation. Maybe stop for 30 seconds just to check if everyone knows the mechanic. Most can be explained within a few lines of text, and bam, you most likely will have a higher success rate, leading to less wipes, less aggression or negativity, and less time wasted than if you just spend the time bitching about how someone's wasting your time in more lines of text than it would take to just explain the fight. Also avoiding more wipes, in turn saving even more time. And we all know those queue timers and quickly delisted groups of parties in the group finder could really use more players and participants. Everyone's got to start somewhere, and the more welcoming and helpful you are to these new, fresh, and inexperienced players, the more likely you are to have more capable in-game hardcore players, and just overall a healthy community that leads to more positive experience for everyone. Whether it's the gatekeeper mindset, how seriously you take the game, or the fact you can't accept that there's just other types of players ending for different in-game goals or grinds, can you please just take a step back and reflect on how you're really choking the life out of the game that you take so seriously and spend so much time on? Do you really want to see it die? To have no one willing to do the content you do? If not, then I would advise, at least to some capacity, to just let go of whatever it is making you into this elitist who in real life no one would want to interact with if you behave that way. Or let go of the perspective that everyone plays like you or wants to do the same things you are. To the passionate, the people who still play and aren't actually part of one of the toxic sides within WoW's community, the players that feel like I do, that love playing the game for many reasons, or even just a few, that have hopes for the future of World of Warcraft, or people who are feeling dragged down by all of the doom and gloom from the other parts of the community. As I know I'm not alone, and I want to reach out and let you know that you're not either. I won't get too much into my hopes for WoW's future here, as that is the final chapter of this video, but I do have many, as I've also seen plenty of others have as well. If you're a creator who posts short guides, discussions, or gameplay videos on YouTube, and have just random people commenting how they hate the game or the go-to, no one asked, type of childish comments, or you see one of these types of comments online from a viewer's perspective, just ignore them, or give them a simple thumbs up. It may be hypocritical of me to say don't respond, as I kind of have been responding to them majority of this video, but I've been playing for so long now and feel I've never really spoken out about these feelings besides 1 to 2 comments in my entire time playing WoW, and kind of just getting this off my chest after the off and on nearly 2 decades of dealing with the WoW community, growing up with it, watching it shift, change, grow, and implode. But as stated earlier, there's no way to entirely cut out the parasite from the WoW community. It's really not worth your time and energy to even engage with them. So I'm making this one video for multiple purposes, and one of them is just stating my piece and then allowing even myself to just let go and stop letting these more negative types of people and players hinder my enjoyment of a game I want to play and that I personally am passionate about, as I hope we can all achieve eventually. So I suggest to the people who fall in this category to just take a deep breath with me and just let go so we can get back to enjoying our beloved World of Warcraft. To the Untouched, meaning anyone who hasn't played WoW before, has been thinking about giving it a try, or may just consume content on WoW even though they don't play it. This section is directed to you. If you want to play the game, there's so much fun you can get out of it if you want, but a lot of it you're going to have to seek out. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't let the more toxic sides of WoW's community deter you from giving it a try. Find out for yourself if you enjoy the game, instead of letting an off-putting community or hate mob online tell you that it isn't fun or that it's a waste of time. as I have spent literal months in this game and can say for myself, I never don't have something I can find to do for fun. Whether it's learning about lore, exploring the world, leveling ults, transmog and mount farming and collecting, raiding, dungeons, dailies, weeklies, PvP, crafting, socializing, and so much more you can experience within WoW. You just have to find what appeals to you and choose to dive right in. I suggest looking for guides or going to Google, which will lead you to Wowhead, Icy Veins, or YouTube, where dozens and dozens of passionate people make full-blown guides for just about any and everything in WoW. You don't have to, but if you ever feel you need to, just remember they are there. Whether to find an NPC, how to finish a quest, how to do a dungeon or raid mechanic, your class rotation and or stat priorities, you can find detailed guides on it online. There's semi-official Discord servers for specific classes and types of players. Reddit is super active.
As usual.
And the information is there if you seek it out. I hope if you're someone who has never played WoW, or maybe hasn't in a long time, maybe my enthusiasm could help give you that nudge to giving the game a try for yourself. As even 2 expansions ago, I probably wouldn't be quite as enthusiastic as I am now. But that's the point. WoW is an always changing game that at one point may have seen its lows, but there are many highs that you can participate in yourself if you wish. But you won't know unless you get your hands dirty and try it out for yourself, in my opinion. So to end off this message to the Untouched, let go of other people's opinions that you adopted as your own, without your own experience playing the game. Let go of your worry that, what if I don't enjoy it? And or the fact that the game may seem intimidating by its bloat, that if you just consume in a manageable way and or take full advantage of the resources on the internet, can still get into the game. It's never too late, and don't let anyone else tell you it is. So I feel I have addressed everyone, and just about everything my heart and mind could come up with regarding all people within the WoW community. Or just on the outside looking in on the dumpster fire that has been WoW's community for the last decade and a half. Now that we all have let go, I would like to move forward and stop talking about the past or all this negativity. Let's get into the final major chapter of this video.
Look, whatever's coming, I'll stand with you. Of course I will. But we were drawn here by the voice. Who is it, Thrall? Who's calling out to us?
I'm not sure yet. But that sword was aimed at someone.
If I had to summarize my hopes for WoW, I'd probably say my biggest hope has been something that I've been inferring through majority of this video, that the community can at least heal itself and become less toxic, even if just to the smallest degree. It would be better than what it has become all these years later. That Blizzard continues the path of redemption they have been on since at least some way through Dragonflight, since bringing back Chris Metzen to continue the story, showing in interviews that much of the team behind what Blizzard has been cooking is super passionate and seems happy themselves for the future of WoW. Which for a while, anyone could have seen how they definitely weren't like this, at least for some time. They have been more transparent, taking in feedback more than they ever have before. They actually have a damn trilogy of expansions planned out, which is another example of something that's super ambitious that they've never done before. And I just hope I will get to keep enjoying the game and getting to see where it all ends up by the end of the World Soul Saga. Of course, I have some smaller hopes for mechanics and features that I'll touch on real quick, but this video has already become way more ambitious and long as hell than originally intended, so I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet. I'd like to see the warbands expand as a feature, maybe eventually leading to player housing, the ability to choose your character screen backgrounds, something they should have done forever ago. That follower dungeon expand to the entire game's catalog of dungeons, and hell, even old raids. Even though they're not needed for clearing old content, just the immersion of that would be nice. Blizzard could even turn these warband members into your follower dungeon party members, like you could make your own party of your warband members or ults, or something like that. That they'll expand and really tweak hero talents for ultimate class fantasy, or just bring back the glyph system, which by the time it was practically removed, was just a bunch of things you could do to change the cosmetics of your spells and abilities. They're still there, but how far they've fallen is disappointing. They've been truly neutered. That more RP and character development features or systems to allow simple character bios or anything similar. that Blizzard continues on a route of making gungeon and raid mechanics more intuitive and not have stuff like orange circle while surrounded by orange fire, orange lava, and orange flames, making it impossible to just see. And other things like that to kind of weed out the perceived need for more gameplay-focused add-ons. And the list could go on, but I'll save that and much more I could have said in this video to be used for further content. I've already filled up my plate with editing and stuff that this video is going to require after becoming what it has. And after a few months break from content creation, I guess the creative spark really zapped me.
This needs to stop, now!
But seriously, after making this video, I feel a weight has been lifted off my chest, like I've exorcised a demon that was hanging out on my shoulders since the creative block kind of hit when I went on hiatus and started somewhat planning out this project a few months back. I hope some people found this video enjoyable, relatable, or any positive feeling. There is much more stuff planned for the future, mostly going to focus on content that is original WoW-themed, inspired stuff, or things that would be considered evergreen content. I'm not really the type to do those weekly update videos that are literally only practical until the following video drops with an update. Just as a heads up with my vision for ViiWoW CO. If you enjoy it, make sure to like, comment your thoughts below, subscribe, and cast a spell on that bell button so you can get an ugly pop-up AdViinturer's-like notification when I release new stuff. I appreciate your time, take care, my friends, and may the winds be at your backs. Hey, Resalia. Do you think that new song you were working on is ready?
Oh, that one? Yeah, I just finished it earlier today.
Well, with ViiWoW CO really kicking off, it's time your original music starts being heard by more than just us. I think that song would be the perfect send-off for this video. Do you think you'd be up for that?
I didn't know you wrote another new song. I would love to hear it as well, my dear Winter.
I know you've all seen me perform before, but never have I performed with this many people around.
Come on. Your songs are magical, truly. I know we've talked about you wanting to do this, but I guess ultimately it is up to you, though.
Yes, it is what I said I wanted.
So, then how about letting us hear that new tune?
I second V's request. We all know you can do it.
Wow. I appreciate you all. So, let there be no more just daydreaming about performing in front of a crowd. I'm going to do it.
Your mother would be proud, Resalia.
Thank you, Father. I'll do my best. Here I go.
We must wake up to our fates, where the sun is shining bright. We may not know what it takes to get the most out of life, but at the end of the day, everything will be alright. Be alright. This journey may be long, but we shall carry on. With our glasses half full, we will find our brighter dawn. Living in a world of magic, things can go wrong, but no matter how tragic, we shall continue to march on. Some dreams may not happen, but that's okay, we'll keep moving along. We're living in the now and living for tomorrow. We shall always hold our ground to endure the sieging sorrow. We're living in the now and living for tomorrow. We shall always hold our ground to endure the sieging sorrow. The journey may be long, but we shall carry on. With our glasses half full, we will find our brighter dawn. This journey may be long, but we shall carry on. With our glasses half full, we will find our brighter dawn.